Hey, what's up? It's Kit. Time for our video. Today, I am going to make a video of this topic because I keep on getting asked a lot about this in the comment section, private messages, DMs, whatever, okay? So I'm getting asked this a lot, even if there's a video I made about this, and people seem to not find it, okay? So I am going to make this video so that if someone asks me, I'm just gonna take the link, okay, put it in the comment and not say anything. So all right, and a lot of people are asking, where do you put, or where do you tie your leader on your jig? Okay, so again, this is something that's very basic, and there is a long video on this that I spoke about, like, I don't know, a year or 2 or 3 before, but people can't find it, people don't want to find it, or they just, kind of don't browse the channel, they just ask immediately. It's like people these days, they kind of just don't have the skill to look for the answers. So this one is very straightforward, okay? So that's the topic for today. And if you're new to this channel talks about the hows and whys of fishing. We cover everything from big game, ultralight, everything in the middle, including fly fishing. And today we're gonna talk about where to tie your leaders on your jigs. I can't believe this. Like I said in the previous videos, these are things that for me are so basic that I think they're not really a subject of discussion. But we're making this video so that those that are in doubt, those that want to verify, or those that are starting out have the answers, okay? So this channel was created to send out or supply proper information so that you improve your fishing. That's it, all right? So that's why we're doing this. Now, if you already know this, that's fine, okay? This isn't for you. This is for those guys specifically. Those guys that don't know this, are first starting out, or those guys that just don't bother looking. All right, so this is like a clear cut, boom, that's it. If you're one of those two, yeah, here we go. All right, we have a fast jig and we have a slow jig down here. All right, I think what we're gonna do is, instead of just saying where you tie it, we're gonna answer why you put it there, okay, and why the reason is, or whatever. All right, so you have your fast jig, okay, and connecting your fast jig to your solid ring assist hook is a split ring, okay. Now I always say that the split ring and the solid ring should be about the same size of the eye. This gives it a lot of freedom, or the jig a lot of freedom, and it ensures that if by chance this happens, you see that, okay, boom, it just kind of rights itself, okay. It doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen from time to time. A smaller a smaller split ring actually prevents this from righting itself. So the what do you call this, the split ring has to be the same size or very close. It could be a size lower or a size you can go lower, but I wouldn't recommend going higher, okay. Now there are some that have really big eyes, okay. That's the exception. So this is for both slow jigs and fast jigs. That's kind of like the exception. Don't go close to that. Okay, again, like I mentioned, I make these videos right when the dogs are active and when the planes, I live near the airport, but when the planes are flying around and when the dogs are barking, this is when I make these videos, so that when I give you the most important information, they start barking, it means that that's the most important bit. Okay, so just what do you call this? They have perfect timing when it comes to that. So majority of the time you will be faced with eyes that are small, okay, or small-ish, that's just perfect for the jig. And what you need to do is just match the eyes of the jigs with your split rings and solid rings, and you'd be okay about 90% of the time. An example of a jig that has eyes that are just too big would be this Kensaki. Okay, you can choose to follow that, or just a bit smaller like I did here. As you can see, that's a perfect size for this particular jig, and it's actually kind of smaller. Okay, so there are exceptions to this rule, or this guideline. It's not a rule, it's a guideline. You're free to choose however big or small your split rings are, but if you choose to follow this, it will make your jigs swim better. Now, for fast jigs, you attach your leader to the solid ring on your assist hook. There are people that make just loops at the very end, and what they do is just loop it to the eye. That usually is okay for smaller jigs, but for heavy ones, don't do that. Okay, always use a split ring, a solid ring connection such as this, and your jigs will swim better. And when you catch a fish, it's way better. Okay, because what happens is that, so imagine this is the leader, okay, and it's connected there. Now what happens, as you can see here, it's a straight line of pull, and the jig isn't really affecting anything here. So the fish cannot use the jig as a leverage point to pry open the hook. And that's a very good thing, because if they can do that and use the jig as a leverage point, you tend to lose a lot more fish. So with that, okay, irregardless of what the fish is doing, the jig's just gonna hang out there. It's not gonna affect the hook, and the fish cannot use the jig as a leverage point, and you lose the fish. So that's it right there. Okay, can you use a swivel? Unless your assist cord is connected to the swivel, no, not really. I have tried using swivels before. The problem with swivels is that they're a bit bulky, even like the big ones. Okay, so like take for example, you take one of these, okay, because that's technically a solid ring right there, and you could just put it like that. Okay, this part right here, as you can see, the bulk of it, it's not gonna do you any good, and it will affect the swimming motion of your jig. Okay, so this configuration is better. Now, what if you have a solid ring and then attached to a swivel? Great. There's some from CB1, there's some from Owner, there's some from Shout, I believe. They're expensive. If you can afford that, go ahead and do it. More power to you. Okay, they're very expensive. So that's your call right there. Do they make a difference in the action of the jig? Yes and no. Okay, having a swivel here actually makes the jig roll more. Okay, and sometimes you don't want that, especially for some types of jigs, such as this one right here. So this one actually slides, okay? And the purpose of this sliding motion is for the fish to be triggered when it's in the horizontal position, and that's when the fish bites it, okay? If you put a swivel on this, it will spin, okay? It will allow it to spin because it gives it a lot more freedom. And it might be that, you know, the spinning motion will prohibit it from sliding longer, okay? So that's kind of creating a disadvantage for you, and you don't like that. You don't want that. So solid ring is always a good bet, okay? And again, you tie on the solid ring. One thing to note about this whole system is that your split ring on fast jigs is a non-load bearing component, which means you can use cheap solid split rings here, and it's not going to affect your fish catching potential, okay? So you can use lower powered or thinner split rings, and you'd be okay, because when you fight the fish, it doesn't have a direct impact on the split rings, okay? So that is for fast jigs. For slow jigs, it's a different story. Very first thing that you have to realize when it comes to slow jigs is that one of the most important components is a quality split ring. And these split rings are load bearing, which means when you are fighting the fish, the split ring plays a major part. And it should be that these split rings that you're using are very strong and that it won't open, okay? Connecting to a slow jig requires you to have a separate solid ring, which you attach here. Can you use a swivel? Because Kit, we don't see you use a swivel. Yes, like I said, there is a video about this, okay, in the channel. All you have to do is just search for connection points, and you'll see me explaining swivels, split rings, you know, different types of swivels and all that. You connect it here, okay, and I'll do that. Now, what is the most correct way? Solid ring, okay? The very first thing that you put is actually a solid ring, not a swivel. And there are times when you can use a swivel, that's up to you. But a solid ring here is much more desirable. What is the size of the solid ring? That's totally up to you. You can use the same size as the eye or smaller. See, when I am talking about something important, that's when they start barking. That's how you know that I'm talking about something important. Alright, so your leader is there, okay? So, as you can see, what forms a straight line still would be the solid ring where your leader goes to. Your assist cord is attached to another solid ring, and this swings freely, okay? This swings freely, like so. There's your solid ring. You can put a swivel there if you want. If you want to know the difference, go ahead and look at that video that I made. Look it up. It's like it says connecting points, okay? So you can do that. You can have you can tie your leader there. Can you tie your leader in the solid ring of this one here? It won't. It will alter the position of the assist hook. As you can see, it's going to be on the side, and you will tend to miss a lot of fish if you do this, okay? That's stupid. Don't do it. The correct and proper way is to put another solid ring there in the split ring, Okay? Again, split rings for slow jigs have a very big role in fighting the fish. It has to be load bearing. Okay? Load bearing. It carries a load. So when you're fighting the fish, what happens when you hook the fish on either end, this or this? What happens is that it carries the load of the fight. As the fish moves around, thrashes about, this other set, okay, irregardless if the fish is bit this, it will be this end, and it will snag the fish. And you will be fighting the fish with at least 2 hooks embedded on it. So it could be that this is in the mouth, and this is going to be snagged on the face, and you will fight the fish in a weird angle for the fish. Okay? Like that. Ouch. Or it could be that the fish is hooked up here, and this snags the fish elsewhere in the body. Irregardless, your leader is in a separate point, and these 2 split rings carry a load. So, very important that when you are fishing with slow jigs, your split rings are of high quality. And if you buy the Japanese split rings, it actually marked, okay, the number, the poundage. Okay, so very important. I don't know about the American ones or the Chinese ones. The Chinese ones, it's kind of hit and miss. All the US branded ones, okay, they're not made in the US. They're all Chinese. There is not a single supplier in the US that's a US brand that's made in the US. They're all Chinese. Okay, they have their jigs made in China. They have their swivels made in China. They just rebrand it basically. So unless they have a Japanese supplier, or unless it's actually from a brand like Shout, Dual, what else? Owner, of course, Gamakatsu. All the rest, like homegrown US brands, they're all Chinese. There's nothing wrong with that, but as we know, made in China stuff, they would always over declare strengths. So it could be that the solid rings and split rings, if they say that it's 200 pounds, maybe it's not. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but they're less reliable. Okay, so just to be sure, buy your terminals, at least your hardware, from like the Japanese brands, because we know that they're kind of reliable. So not kind of, we know they are reliable. I'm not trying to be elitist here or anything. It's just kind of it's not kind of the truth. It is the truth. If it's Japanese, the quality is high, and you know that what it says in the label is true. So yeah, all right. So very, very important. Again, this is where you tie your leader. It's a separate solid ring or a swivel on a load-bearing split ring. For fast jigs, you tie it on a solid ring, and you attach your jig via a split ring, but the split ring on fast jigs could be non-load bearing. It's up to you. I mean, I don't use expensive split rings while I'm fast jigging, because I know that I'm using that's it. Okay, sometimes I even use like a smaller thin wire, not smaller but thin wired split rings for this, just because I don't want any other weight to affect the swimming motion of the jig. So that's that. All right, now if there's still doubts, which is I pray God please know, write in the comment section. If it's clear, go ahead and write in the comment section that that you've explained it perfectly in a way that I understand it, so that I know. Okay, if I missed something out, drop it in the comment section. Okay, If you're new here and you want to learn more, click on the subscribe button. If you want your friends to learn, share this video or share the channel. It's up to you. And if you learned something with this video, give it a thumbs up. Alrighty, that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Class dismissed.